Everyone, I'm going to show you how I'm going to transform Chuck Schumer into a Soviet soldier. So at first, usually what I do first is I put on some music to kind of get me in the mood. So I'm going to play the music. I'll turn it up a little bit because I got to hear it loud. Hopefully it doesn't affect the recording. And then I go in here and I say, okay, this is the picture I'm going to turn him into. And this is my picture of his face. So the first thing I do is I'll actually mask Chuck Schumer's face. So I'll actually go into his face real deep. Let me make sure what I need. Okay, I need part of his neck as well. So I'll just go and take his neck too as well. And then, let's see where I'm gonna go here. And as you can see, I'm using this polygon lasso tool, and I just kind of trace the area that I want cropped. And you click each certain point. This is Photoshop, by the way. And then, let's see. And then you can use your mouse to kind of like force scroll it. And then, up his neck. And let's see. And you see, like each time I stop, I'm actually clicking to create a point. Don't double click because then it will stop the lasso. So you just click one time. This may take some time because this is a pretty large file. If you look at the very bottom, it says 107 megabytes. So it's a pretty decent sized file. And the reason why you zoom real deep in, sometimes like when I'm doing stuff real fast, I'll just like half-ass it, you know what I mean? That's usually on the fly slams I'm giving people. You don't really have to worry about that part of the hair. You just kind of push around it. But the farther you zoom in, the more detailed you can actually have your mask, which is really good too, because especially in parts like where the hair is, you can kind of make it look real, like you make the mask look really good. So I don't know what we're going to call Comrade Chuck Schumer, but I think I'm going to give him, let's see here. It's funny because like you look at this and you're like, man, he's like all off or whatever, but when you see me zoom out, it's actually going to be pretty precise. But I wanted to get like a picture of him like looking all like serious because, you know, now, the hat is going to be in this area, so I'm kind of half-assing this part of it, just for a time constraint, because he's going to actually have a hat over here. Look at this douchebag's hair. It's so stupid. All right. Let's see. And kind of going through the weeds here, so you're just kind of just making it look. If I had hours to spend on this, I could actually go like super detailed into this stuff, but I'm just gonna kind of push myself around because I may even just mess with his face and stuff too. That might be on the next video. Okay, let's see. So you just kind of want to go around and just So hey, you know it's pretty hilarious. I don't know if you guys know William Legate or whatever it is. I trolled his ass so hard that he had to actually um, block me, which is pretty hilarious because this guy. The thing about this guy is he's sitting there and he's trolling Trump's account left and right. I mean, as far as trolls concerned, he's like using his bots to go up and push his account up, so it's going to be like the first or second tweet reply of Donald Trump's tweets. And there's a few other certified accounts that are backed by like these fake bots that will constantly retweet or actually not even retweet, it's liking it. And then so the trick to placing your tweet up top is to reply and then reply to your replies and keep replying in your replies and then having their bots liking each one. So if you ever really pay attention, you can actually look at Donald Trump's tweets, and you'll see the top tweets that are on there, and you'll see these people, and they'll sit there with like three to five responses to Donald Trump's original tweet, and then if you look at each one of those responses, you'll see that there's like 2,000 likes or whatever else. Well, those are the bots. Those are the bots liking it, and there's no paper trail to the likes because there's no response to that or no way of tracking that. So because there's so many of them, and but if you actually look at the followers of these accounts, you'll start noticing which ones are the bots, and then you can actually put them on a list. And if you put them on a list, you'll see that they're constantly retweeting every single one of their... Now, I say, here's the thing. They retweet only the replies. Only the replies. So, like, when you look at their regular tweets, like when they're just, like, doing tweets on their own page, they'll get, like, 20 or 30 retweets or likes and minimal responses and whatnot on their tweets. But when they're replying, which is again hidden because it shows on their tweets and replies, you'll see thousands of retweets, thousands of replies, and that's how they do it. And it's crazy that these certified accounts, because there's like I think about 20 of them, I think it is. They troll the conservatives and whatnot, and then you have these like fake bot accounts pushing them, and they're basically dominating and destroying the actual open community of Twitter. And I find it really disturbing that Jack would even be open for this type of abuse on the Twitter company or whatever. So I'm almost done here, and all right, here's part of his neck. Now I don't have to use this as an exact science. So basically, what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to give myself enough playroom to actually incorporate his neck to the soldier's neck. So. Now what I do too is like when I start doing these masks, because I can use the same head for other tweets, or other memes that I design. So then, so what I'll do is I'll actually save this new mask. And by doing that, what I do is I have now done the mask, and then I'll do Shift F6. And I'll create a feather, because this is a large file format. This is something like 5,000 by 6,000 DPI or whatever. And so normally I'll do a half pixel. if it's a smaller file, but this time I'm going to actually do like 2 pixels, and then I'll go OK, and it'll take a little time because it's a big file. Oh, I guess it already did. So then I push copy, which is Command C, and then I'll just push paste, and then if you look right there, you'll see that his head is now there. So then when you go down, you have a masked face. So what then I do with this is I will actually save this as, oh, I'm sorry, I already have it saved, but front face. So that's done. And I'll copy this. I'm going to close this out so I don't have to deal with it. And here's the soldier's face. Okay, and then I will size his head to match the shape, size of this person's head. Now I'm not worried about the soldier's the background of the soldier either. I'm just trying to get his head to be the same. So I'm going to kind of push this down a little bit, and I'm going to take the transparency down, just so I can kind of see where he sits. I'm going to zoom in, and then I'm going to do another transform. Okay, so I'm going to match the eyes. See how I match the eyes? And see how he's tilted, so then I know that I have to tilt his face to the soldier's face. And alright, we got that together. His nose, see I'm looking at his nose, so then I want to go down. I don't worry about the soldier's ears because I'm just trying to match. Oh, there's the mouth though. So it looks like Schumer has a crooked face, so I'm going to go together like that. So here we go. We got the mouth lined up. We got the nose somewhat lined up. We got the eyes. So now the next step is to go move him across because he's going to see how his neck is not really lined up too much. So now I have to actually enlarge him because his face is a little smaller than the soldier's. Because you see how I have to fit the neck in. And I will make him a little bit to the right. That should probably be good. Yeah, let's go like that. All right. So then the next step that I do, I'm gonna put his opacity higher again. The next thing I'll do is I'm actually gonna hide him real quick, and then we need his hat. This guy's hat, and you want it to be over Schumer's head. So what you'll do is you'll go in and you mask this out. All right, and let's see here. I'm like spending a little bit extra time on this guy just because I just wanted to kind of show you if you were to do something a little bit more complicated. Now I want to keep some of this shadow area on the head to try to naturalize it a little bit. And So now see, you look at this coloring that's right here. This area right here, that's going to be, I'll show you what's going to happen. Now remember, the feather is Shift F6, 2 pixel. Now I'm going to copy and paste this. Oops. I got to go on here, sorry. You got to go on the layer. So I'm going to copy, paste. So now I have his helmet. And then you can kind of see what I'm doing here. So now see where I'm at with his head. I can actually now move this to kind of like incorporate to his. Let's see. He's going to be a little bit bigger. And we're going to just kind of size it a little bit more. Kind of match that guy's head. Actually, I think it needs to be smaller. I think his head kind of ends right. I think his head ends right here. Let me see down farther. And I'm gonna kind of just visualize this, guys. So it's gonna be sitting kind of halfway off his head. I think that's good. So then here, I need to get rid of this portion of his hair because now it's again Shift. Oh crap. Okay, right here. There we go. Alright. Now the next step I'm going to do here is I'm going to hide these two, and I'm going to actually mask out this soldier's bottom. This portion of his let's see, this part right here. So I'm going to zoom in. I like to work on things really big, file sizes really big. And the reason why is like edits usually are like a lot cleaner. So kind of works out pretty well. And let's see here. Yeah, I used to be a graphic designer back in, well, from 1989 till about 2004. And lots has changed, but I've always like bought the new versions and of Photoshop and Illustrator and programs like that, just to stay on top of it. It's like a hobby of mine. So let's see here. What is Schumer? Let's see. Oh yeah, Schumer's the Democrat, so I'll throw in like a Democrat pin or something on him. I'll show you how I do that really quick too. But we really need to get him on the Soviet side, so let's see here. No, I'm kind of like trying to work fast for time constraint, but I think I'll be all right. I'm all right. Because again, you remember when I tell you when you fade out. You know, I'm kind of glad that the liberals and the media have like really come to try to attack Trump's presidency on every everything, because it kind of gives me the energy to try to combat them as well. You know, because we have won the meme war on these guys, and also just our army of I don't even call ourselves trolls. I call ourselves like the liberators of media suppression, because that's the problem with the media right now. Is it's gotten so propagandist, and it's just really taken its toll on me as far as a person that actually wants to seek truth. But then the other thing too is that they want to this media outlets, they want to be kingmakers, and it's gone to their head, and they're trying to press this ideology, you know, and I just can't take it. It just so I like it when they fight. I like every single one of the. I would love for my page to be spammed with like haters and whatever else. The only time that I ever block somebody is when they put me on a list. I think that's ridiculous, you know, like, don't put me on a list. I've already heard about the horror stories where they call them flag lists, and what they'll do is they'll put you on this stupid list, and then they have other people that go on there to spam report you. And so with enough spam reports, then they'll either Twitter will label you as a spammer, which hides you from searches and whatnot. But then, or they can actually get you to get your account suspended, which is total bullcrap. And you know that Twitter's aware of this, because it's like it's pretty easy to like find this out. I mean, I'm not even an IT guy, and I can sit there and I can see this happening. So you know that they're like looking at this and looking at the algorithms and whatnot, and the data, and they know who is doing what, and they're just allowing it to happen because of their agenda, their ideology. That's kind of bullshit to me. I'm almost done here, and then everything else after this gets pretty fast. All right, the masking is the most tedious of everything. That's why I always save masks, so I don't have to deal with it again. Because once I do that, once I'm done with the masks, I can set this angry Schumer face onto anything I want. All right, I'm going to scroll down. And see, I always try to keep the original file. So I always, I need to be on this page. I always copy and paste. And the reason why I do that is that if I ever mess up on anything, see, I just copied and paste. See, now there's this portion. If I ever mess up on anything, I can always go back to the original. So now what I want to do here is I want Schumer's, this part to be behind, right? So it's behind the area. Actually, I'm sorry, I wanted it in front. What am I talking about? So now what I'll do here is I will look into this portion here, and I will use the magic wand tool. See this? See how it's like that? And what it does is it actually will select the empty space behind it. And then I will go to his face and see where this is at. Well, I actually want this part of the neck to be over the costume, or over his costume. So what I'll do is, but I want the neck to be cut off. So what I'll do is this part I want over the man. What am I keep wanting to say it's the costume, but it's not. So you use the Option key, and you see how it says minus. So I actually can cut out a portion of his neck that I want to show, or actually his chin. But see, now that I have it masked, I don't have to worry about this portion. And I want this to show over too. So I'm cutting this to here. Oops, I went the wrong way. You do the Option, you do the shift. I'm sorry, shift. My bad. So it's not option, it's shift. Because I'm adding to it. Now, when you see me make a mistake and you see me like actually like get out of it, I'm using a feature called Command Z, and that will actually undo my last move. Okay, so there's this kind of like neck that I want to keep, and I don't have to worry about this part right here because I'm just cutting off this portion of the neck right here. So then, let's see here. I am going to go to his face and scroll back and do the mask to delete, oops, inverse, which is Shift Command I, then delete. And then there's his neck area. And so now I got to kind of fix this portion here to kind of align in. So I'm going to kind of make him have a skinny neck. And that should be good. Shift F6, delete, and scroll back. He's looking pretty good right now. So I need to show some kind of shadow in this area, so it's kind of like looks like it's part of the suit. The other thing too is it looks like he's kind of. I think I did the mask a little too much. See how it's kind of glowing right there. There we go. All right. So I don't really care about this area over here. What I care about like is right here to kind of like show that it's kind of glow, the shadow. So I'm gonna kind of like use a bit of this color here. And I'm gonna kind of like follow his chin a little bit. And his jaw. And then I'm going to actually feather this to about like 13, or I'm going to actually go 15 on this one. So I'm feathering this, and then I will create a new layer here because I want it to be under the face but above the suit. And then I'm going to pick a color which is kind of like the shadow that's right here, and I will go like this. Let me get a, yeah, no, that's dark enough. Okay, so then I actually go edit, fill, foreground color, and then I will, on the layer, I will actually call it multiply. And then see how it shows the shadow. And it kind of shows like now his neck is a little bit, it's a little dark right now, so I'm gonna actually take the opacity down. Just so it kind of gives it a little vibe there. Now, see, his face is a lot lighter than what it would be if he was, you know, like took the photo. So I'm going to go into a filter called Camera Raw filter, and it's going to just show up his face. And I'll put it off to the side, zoom up a little bit, to kind of give me an idea. And I'll actually get it a little warmer. A little warmer, put some red into it. No, not too much red. And then I'm going to expose it less. So see how it's darker now? And the contrast, and highlights, and shadows, whites okay. Put down the blacks a little bit. It's pretty clear as it is, so I don't have to worry about that. But I'll make the vibrance a little bit. A little bit of saturation, just a tad bit. And Now it's kind of more close to the area here. Now I got to go back to the hat. Remember I was telling you about? And this will be a new layer above the head that's going to be over the head under the hat. So I'm going to actually label these for you. Hats, head, chin, shadow, uniform. Okay. And then this is going to be hat, shadow. Okay. So now what I do here is I'm going to create just enough. I'm just going to follow this through because it's got to look like the hat's on his head. And yeah, like because it's behind the hat, I just kind of like, once I get to the area that's actually going to show, so it's the 15 again, remember? And then on this shadow, I want to go and match this color. And I will fill and multiply. Sometimes I'll size it out now that I have it like down. And that looks pretty good, to my opinion. All right, so I'm gonna save this as Soviet Chuck. So now what does Soviet Chuck need? What I do now is I have this as his whole persona, right? So if I want to add this to another file, I'll grab this whole situation here, or section, and then I'm going to merge layers. See, so now, and then I'm just going to say, Chuck Soviet. And I'm going to copy. I'm going to create a new file. See. Alright, so normally my size, my memes, it depends on if I want to go long or tall, but I'll actually go and I'll make a canvas size of my pixels. I usually go like 2000 by 2000 if I want it square, but I'm going to do him smaller, so I'll do 2000 by 1200. Don't worry about the sizing, because you can size this down to where you want it. And that looks pretty good. Okay, so there's Chuck, the Soviet Chuck. And now I want a background. So what I normally do with the background, I'll go up and I'll go into Safari. I had to figure out how to do a screen to record my screen. So bear with me. This is my first damn video, so. And then, so then I'll look up Soviet backgrounds. Uh-oh, my keyboard's slow. And then I'll go into images for a Soviet background. And then I always like try to search for something that's pretty large format. So remember I have mine at 2500 by 1200. So I don't know what's going on, why it's slowing down here. Did I lose my internet? Oh, there we go. Let's do this guy. This looks pretty fun. All right. What the heck? I don't know why my internet went down. me try to quit this again. I don't know what the hell happened. We're gonna go to Chrome.